just a couple minutes early. I didn't actually mean to hit the live button. I was just trying to get my camera set up, and all of a sudden I realized I hit live because I saw the countdown. I'm like, uh-oh. So I'm not quite there yet with everything on my page. But wait a minute, it's not showing me as being live. So it's weird. Okay, let me hit refresh. I see, let's see. Oh, now I'm showing live. Let's see. All right. Hey, Tammy. All right, let's see. Let's see, let's see if I can prop this up. And so there's no glare. Well, let's see. Oh, not as much of a glare. But let's see, I can see my lights. All right, yeah, there's still glare. I don't know, but we'll prop things up like Patty suggested. I'll use some of my blocks, and hopefully it takes some of the glare off. It looks like it did. Woohoo! All right, so now it is 4:30 on the dot. Welcome, my friends, to Fun Friday with Stampin' with Jen. I am Jenny Fetz, and I am a independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of East Contra, Costa County, which is out by the Delta, which would be probably an hour and a half, depending on traffic. Hey, Shannon from San Francisco, east of San Francisco. I'm sort of halfway between San Francisco and Sacramento. So anyway, I am excited to have you here, and I am going to be showing you a fun card that I am casing, which means copy and share everything. I'm doing that, and it was by a lady by the name of Ginny Harrell, and actually somebody else posted it on Pinterest, but they cased it from Ginny, so I'm giving Ginny the original credit for this. And yes, it is hot at our house. I think it is supposed to be over 100 today. Hey, Karen, welcome. So it's hot. Up here, I don't typically see true fall weathers until after, I always say after fall break, because our school system has school from the end of July until the end of September. Then they take a 2-week break. Hello, Patty, welcome. And then we have 2 weeks until October, or till Halloween usually. It's usually, from what I remember when I was teaching, that it was after a fall break that we'd actually start having cooler weather. So counting down the days, sort of. It's about 6 weeks away. So anyway, I am using Garden Meadow. Now this is a fun set that I was chosen to be a guest stamper in my group. And this was the bundle that was given to me. And I saw it yesterday when it arrived in the mail, and I had to play with it. And I haven't had a lot of fun with it. I can't wait to play with it more. And it is a really fun, it's a photopolymer set with a set of dies. And I believe this used to have a DSP, and the DSP might be out there. I didn't check on it, but I think it's Meandering Meadows, I think. Patty, you might know. Is it Meandering Meadows or something like that, Meadows, that goes with this? I can't recall. I'll have to look it up, and I can share with you on the blog if I remember. Maybe I'll make a note of that. DSP check. So I wrote that down. Meandering Meadows. It was. And is that paper still available, Patty? I just can't recall. I'll have to look. So anyway, I'm excited to play with this. Let me show you. It's not your typical size card because it's a fun folding type card. And check this out. It uses one of the dies to create the, oh, it is still available. Awesome. I might have to add that to my list since there's a few other things that I forgot to get out of the new stamping scrapbooking brochure. But it is a fun fold using the window die. Let me share that with you. The window die right here. And we use this to create the fun fold. So let me go ahead and show you how we do that. And I'll tell you what we need too. What we are using to create this is we're going to use, well, I think it's 4 pieces of white cardstock, 3 1/4 inch wide by 5 1/2 inches tall. You want to make this right now? Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it. I'm glad you like it. And the fun thing is let me share something with you. I discovered, because I was trying to figure out, I grabbed a card, an envelope, and actually, let me show you real quickly. I grabbed the envelope and I went, wow, oops, wait a minute, it goes this way. That's awfully big. And then I went, oh, wait a minute. Let me go get a note card from my note card sets and check this out. This can be a fun note card, and it's not your typical note card because it fits perfectly in our note card size envelopes. So I think I might be buying more of these envelopes just for this. So let me go ahead and put this aside, and I will show you how we did this. What we needed is, to make this card, you need 4 of the basic white using our window die. And if you look at the window die, what it does is it has these great little dashes in them. And then the back side, you have the rough spot where they come out. So what I'll show you, what we're going to do is, oh, you have a bunch. Oh, okay. I have all of the ones from when I bought the note card sets before they went up in price. But we'll see. Yeah, I've got to figure out what I'm doing for my craft fairs, and this might be a good one. But anyway, you have the rough side here, and I'll show you how we're going to work with that. Then you also have 2 made out of our chosen DSP, and I've decided to use our country lace. The lady Ginny and the other gal that I got this from actually used Thoughtful Journeys and Meandering Meadows, and you could actually use some of the Splendid Autumn. And if you cut this just perfectly in half, you can actually do, what they did is, instead of having the DSP on the first and the last arch, they did the first 2 arches, so you had the whole scene here, and then the sentiment was on the last arch. So I'm going to play with that a little bit too. I think I've got all my new paper and everything, and I'm so excited that I'm going to play today and tonight, and it's Friday night, so I can play until who knows what time. All right, so we're going to use this, and then we have a couple of scrap pieces of white paper for stamping our sentiment. And last night, it totally shocked me. I thought, what can I do to use? And I realized our paper plate die. Patty, you know what I'm talking about, from Spotlight on Nature. The smallest of those dies makes the same dashes that are on the arch, so it totally coordinates. And I'm so excited that I had this. I mean, I don't usually think outside the box. I don't know if this is really think outside the box, but I usually have a hard time mixing and matching, and this just struck me, and I was so excited last night when I came up with it. So we're going to be using a few of the dies from our Garden Meadow, and we're going to use this, the smallest of the paper plate, or the circle with the dashes on there, from Spotlight of Nature die set. And we're going to use, now this is not Stampin' Up, you just go and raid your printer for a piece of printer paper, and we're going to use a couple pieces from the printer paper to create our hinges. And I'm going to be using the boots, the basket with flowers, the tall flower, I think those might be like sweet peas, the bucket, and then the thinking of you, and I can't imagine having a better friend than you, having a better friend stamp. And so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you a couple tips that I learned when doing this. And so what I've done is, this is what my paper looks like. I take an 11.5 or an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and then I cut it into 3 1/4 wide. which is perfect because by doing that, you end up getting 4 of these arches out of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and then you have a longer piece of this left over, and this is perfect for stamping some of the other pieces on there. Looking at me mixing and matching. I know, Tammy. Oh my gosh. I did it for my, I don't know. Maybe this is started something new. I'm able to mix and match, and my mind is starting to go in that direction. So I'm excited. So anyway, if you look at it, this die fits perfectly in there, so you get the whole thing, and you don't have any hanging over on the side. However, when we're cutting the DSP, we're going to cut it so it hangs over just a little bit. And don't ask me how this works because it covers it perfectly, but it's really wild. So what you're going to do is your DSP is actually going to be 3 inches wide, and we're going to set it so it goes all the way down. And I've already cut it, so you know I'm not going to cut this now, but I'll show you how it sets up. You go ahead and cut it, or you put this at the base so it matches, but it goes within these 2 lines. And if you cut this long enough, and it's usually 3 inches by 8 inches, and you can get 2 of them out of there, and it cuts and it gives you these pieces right here. So let's go ahead now and put our papers together. So let me go ahead. I'm going to need only 3 of these right now, and then we'll put these together in just a bit. This is where we need our 2 pieces of printer paper, and the printer paper is actually 1 inch by 2 3/4 inch. The original directions had them at 3 inches, but I didn't want them so long that you might see them where the arch was. So I made them a little bit shorter, and it worked just fine. And I made it certain, I know last time I keep forgetting to find my silicone mat, and I needed it this time because they used Tombow glue when doing this. And I'm going to show you something. I used Tombow glue the first time I did it, and I'm not sure if you can see, but it created this really weird where the paper bent. I couldn't get it, and it's very sticky because the Tombow glue oozed through, and I couldn't get it to fold correctly. You can see there's a lot of bumps and everything on there. So when I made my other sample to test things out, I used my Stampin' seal. So this is what I'm going to do. We're going to take our Stampin' seal, and we're going to turn it up, our arches upside down, so we can feel the bumps, sort of like Braille. Feel the bumps on it, and we're going to go ahead and put 2 of them side by side. Let me move these. Put them side by side so they butt up right against each other. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little of my Stampin' seal and go along that edge and a little bit along that edge. All right. And we make sure they're butt up right against each other. And then I'm going to take my piece of copier paper. Oh, wait a minute. They're not quite even on the bottom because you want them to be perfectly even so they can stand up. And then I'm just going to put my paper right there, overlapping the 2. And then we'll maybe get my bone folder and burnish it a little bit just to make sure it sticks really good. All right, so now you can see, and then you fold it and make sure it sticks really good like this. All right, so now let's go ahead and we're going to do the same thing for this side. And I might just fold this in half. This might be something, you know, to fold it in half so you have that crease already there for when we're folding it. And here's the nice thing is we don't have to worry about these pieces of paper because this is the side that we're going to cover with our DSP. So let's go ahead and Stampin' seal along the edge there and Stampin' seal around the edge there and put them bumped up one against each other. And we'll try and put that fold right in the middle. All right. Hey, Anne, welcome in. I'm glad you're able to join us from Alaska. All right, now I'm going to fold it, but we're going to fold it so it has more of a Z look, so it zigzags. And now that's our card base right there. And There we go. So now what we're going to do is let's go ahead and do our stamping, and then we'll assemble everything. So I'm going to set that off to the side. And the colors I've chosen to use today is Azure Afternoon for my sentiment. I'm going to use basic gray for some of the outlines, and my tuxedo black for some of my outlines. So what we're going to do first is we're going to do our sentiment for the inside of the card, which is the one that says, "I can't imagine having a better friend. I'm thinking of you. I'm thinking use up that DSP and cover both sides." You could. I've seen that where you can use it both sides. You could do it both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this now. I'm going to try and get this straight without getting my head in the screenshot. All right, perfect. We'll set that aside because we're done with that. And you know what? Since I've got my Azure Afternoon open, I'm going to take my 3x3 square, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp the thinking of you on this in the center so that I can put my ink away, because this is what we'll die cut our sentiment out of. Love it, chop it, use it, you bet. That works. All right, so let's go ahead now. I've got that done. We'll set that aside too. What am I going to do next? Oh, I'm going to do my flower. That's on the inside of my card, and I'm going to use my black ink. And I'm just going to, sometimes you tap it, but I've re-inked mine, and so I want to make sure it's not too inky. So I'm going to stamp off a little bit. Yeah. All right. There we go. Let's go ahead and we're going to put, oh, there we go. I think we've got enough ink there. And we'll put that right there. We'll set this aside. I'm going to do all my stamping, and then that way I have time, because we're also coloring today. Oh my goodness. I have got so many different things going on with this, but it was so fun, and it's so easy to do. I don't want to put my black ink away. Sorry. Wrong thing to put away. All right, let's go ahead, and we're going to take this other small piece of white that's left over when we cut our arches. We cut our paper to do our arch dice thing, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the black to do our flower basket. All right. Let's see, did I miss any comments? No, looks like we're doing good. All right. All right, we're gonna stamp this down here at the bottom. Want to have room for doing our putting the dies on there, and then I'm gonna stamp in basic gray my water can and my boots. All right, so let's do the boots first. These boots were made for walking. I don't know if you guys remember that song. My parents had the song by, oh, what was her name? Nancy Sinatra. These boots were made for walking. I don't want to put that away. All right, put the boot away, and we're going to do the water can. I almost said trash can. No, water can. All right, and now we're going to put the basic black away, and I'll put my stamps away so I don't get my hands all over them. Now we're going to do our coloring. And I have a fun thing that I discovered. I don't know, it may not be new to you guys, but it was new to me, and I was so excited when I came up with this idea. I was like, woohoo! But I'll show that to you. It's going to be one of the last things we do. All right, so my flowers, I'm going to use the dark pecan pie on the small, I clipped that on really well. And I'm just going to go over some of the little hash marks or the little lines that are in there, because that shows shadows and it shows all the other stuff. I might add a little bit more later. And then we're going to color it in with the light pecan pie. I tell you, I put these on really tight, and then I'm afraid I'm going to break it. This is another set that reminds me of paper dolls. Yeah, it is sort of like paper dolls, isn't it, Anne? All right, we're going to color the basket in. Don't forget that little back piece there, which is the back side of the handle. And then just color this in. All right. I might go ahead and go over some of those. We'll give it a little bit and see how they look in a little bit, and if I have to go over some of that. And then I'm going to use Azure Afternoon Light, and I'm choosing this color because it coordinates them with the colors I used for my sentiments. And I love blue flowers. I just love blue. Blue's like, sometimes I'll say I like a green or I like a yellow, but ever since I can remember, I've always loved blue. Matter of fact, when I was younger and my parents gave me the choice of what color I wanted in my room, I chose blue. It was a light blue room that I had, and I loved it. All right, let's go ahead. Now we're going to go ahead and use Granny Apple Green to color in the leaves. So we'll do that. This is the longest. This is what takes the longest, is coloring the basket. Everything else is easy peasy lemon squeezy. So we'll go ahead and do that. All right, I'm going to use dark Granny Apple Green. Like I said, I'm using a plethora of my Stampin blends, and I'll tell you something, these scared me at first a little bit, but the more I use them, the more I love them. And so now I'm on a mission of having all of them in all the colors that we can do. All right, so I've used my blues, I've used my greens. I think I'm going to add a little darker, a little bit more dark to my pecan pie, to some of these areas, just to give it a little something. I might even go a little bit under. There we go. And a little bit back there because it's the shadow. All right, and now let's do our boots. Our boots, I'm going to, where did I put my, there it is. My dark gray granite and my light gray granite. Oh my goodness, there they are. So we're gonna do our boots. Oh no, sorry. We're gonna use our dark Azure Afternoon, but we are gonna use our gray granite for this. We're going to trim the edge up on the top with gray granite, and then the little, I don't know, the thing that you handle you use to pull it up. And then we're going to color in this with dark Azure Afternoon. We'll just sort of carefully around the edges and then go to town inside. And I can't wait to show you what I discovered. It may be something everybody already knew, but I was so excited. It's something I'm going to do with the boots in just a minute. All right, how many of you guys have seen those cute little rain boots that have the polka dots on them? Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the blue boots. They have the polka dots on them, and I don't have a stamp that has polka dots that I know of. And then I went, oh my goodness, we're going to use the color lifter to create our polka dots on our boots. So I'm just going to randomly go, and you can't see it when you first do it, but if you watch carefully, it's magic. It gives us some little polka dots. And so we're going to see those develop over time while I'm doing our watering cans. Now let's go ahead and do our watering can. The watering can is going to be in the light and dark gray granite. So let's go ahead and we're going to do, where's my dark? There's my dark gray granite. So dark gray, no, I want to go light gray granite first. Light gray granite, we're going to go ahead and just color in the top and the main part of the can. All right, I love how these, you know what, I'm falling in love with these blending pens more and more. Thank you. Thanks, Anne. I'm glad you like that. It's not showing up as much. I'm gonna have, you showed up really well on the, maybe it was the light Azure Afternoon I used last time. But anyway, let's go ahead. Now we're going to add, I use a little of the dark gray granite to color in the trim And just a little bit on the top and a little bit on the bottom and where the lamb is. All right, so there we go. There are our little boots. I'm going to go ahead and do a little more. We have some more polka dots. But anyway, so let's go ahead. Now we're going to die cut this, and I have my little machine here. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to get this one, so I could do die cutting with you guys while I'm in here without walking to the other side. Now, let's see. I'm going to need more of these. Let me roll back a little bit, get my Post-it tags, because I need to use the... Can you guys see this? All right, I'm going to use... I don't want to get my head in the way. Okay. Post-it tag to... My hands in the way. Oh, what did I just drop? Something dropped. Okay, put that over there. And then I'm going to use the boots. I love it. There are so many fun dies on this to cut out all these fun little things. There's dies to cut out the birds. There are dies on this for the little shovels, the little shovels that you dig with, and the little fork that you would use to, I don't know, sort of loosen up the dirt. I'm not a gardener by any means, so as you can tell, I don't know words or specific terms. So let's go ahead and put this on here. Let's go ahead and die cut these out, and then we'll die cut out our sentiment and put the rest of the card together. All right. Hopefully this isn't shaking the table too much. All right. We'll take these out, and now let's go ahead and find our thinking of you, and we're going to center that right there. I'll take one of these. Make sure I get it all in there. All right, let's go ahead and sandwich this together. All right. Oh. You call it a shovel thingy too? Oh, good. Yeah, I wish I had inherited my granny's green thumb. That woman could grow anything and make anything look pretty. She had the most beautiful garden. Me, on the other hand, I killed a cactus because I didn't water it enough in college. So, you know, I'm not a spade. See, I think of spades when I think of cards. I don't think of spades when I think of gardening. But anyway, all right, so let's go ahead and put these all together and move these dies off to the side. We'll take all our pieces here. And put our dies away. All right. And, all right, put those away. Put these away. All right, so now we're ready to assemble. All right, this is the side that has our hinges. So this is the side we're going to attach our DSP and the piece that the white arch that we stamped on. Oh, I forgot to color that one. I'll have to color that one in just a minute. All right, let's go ahead and use our Stampin' seal to attach here, and you want to make sure you get it perfectly aligned, otherwise it might look a little funny. There we go. Let's do this one. You're the same way, Tammy. I do have to say, the funny thing is I have a big bush in the backyard. It's called the Rose of Sharon. That's the official name for it. We call it in my house Granny's bush because it is a bush that, it's not really a bush. It's this giant, well, I guess it's a bush. Anyway, it's beautiful, and my granny had just planted it in her backyard. Okay, let's go ahead and So yeah, you do have to play with this a little bit to fold it back and forth. All right, she had planted it in her backyard, and then she was diagnosed with cancer. And I was the only one of the grandchildren that had a house. And when she told my grandfather that when she passed away, she wanted him to dig it up if he sold the mobile home that they were living in. So he did that. He dug it up, or had somebody dig it up. They put it in a bucket, and they sent it over to me and my husband. And we're going to go ahead and put this on the front. And let's go ahead and color this one flower while I tell the story. And so he gave it to me, and it sat in a bucket for like a year and a half. And then or a year. And then we put it in a wine barrel, and we transferred it up to when we moved. We transferred it up to the house that we live at right now. And we're going to use granny apple green here. And finally, we got our backyard and everything ordered and organized. And we knew exactly where we were going to plant the bush. And we planted it. That thing has probably 100 times the size it was. When we got it, it was a stick. It probably was no thicker than, I don't know, maybe my spray here. No bigger than that, thick-wise. Now it is leaning over, it's towering up, it's like 8 feet tall, and it's not because I did anything with it. So I'd like to think that it's because it's my granny's that it survived. So we're going to use dark green, dark granny apple green there. And I'm going to tie in our petal pink DSP with the dark petal pink for the flowers. So we'll just squish it in there a little bit to get those petals filled. But anyway, that's the only thing. And I'm tempted that when we finally move from this house, I might see if I can get a cutting or two and figure out how to root it. And that way I can take it with us wherever we go. But we'll see. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and attach our flowers here. And we're going to use Stampin' Dimensionals to pop that up a little bit. All right. We're going to put that right there. And then we're going to use our boots, our polka dotted boots, and our watering can, and we're going to put them on this side of the, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to trim a little bit of the white here around the boots. I'm going to trim them a little bit. Sometimes you know what, it's one of those things. Sometimes I can deal with the extra white from the die cut, and sometimes I just don't. I don't like it. I think we're gonna trim a little bit here too. So, sort of like fussy cutting after you die cut something. I don't know. All right, so got a scoop. All right, see you later, Anne. Have a happy weekend. Thanks for joining. I think tomorrow you need to make many of these. It would count as It would count as resting. It would count as resting because you're resting at your desk and you're having fun. And that's the important part of resting, is relaxing and having a good time. So we're going to use a little of our Stampin' Seal on these. And we'll put them there. And there is our card. And it folds like this, and it fits perfectly into a note card size envelope. Or the envelope. All right, well, I showed you guys at the beginning, but I just love this. I'm going to go through all my DSP and find DSPs I can do this with. But, you know, this was fun. This was a lot of fun. I saw this card on Pinterest and thought, I have to try that. I got to figure out. Thank you, Karen. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you love it, Patty. I saw this and I thought, I have to try it. I have to figure out how to do it. I did some digging, found the video, and watched it last night. I made a few little changes to the measurements that she gave, but I'm loving this. And so I think I'm gonna make a bunch of these. You know, I might be able to pay my daughter to die cut some of these arches for me. So I may or may not have an excess. You may not have an excess. Yes, that would be perfect. Matter of fact, I was just thinking of that. I was thinking one of these sceneries would look really, really pretty. And you know what? You don't even have to use white as the card stock for the card base. If you wanted to use a color that is accentuates or is accented here, like maybe the crushed curry or even one of the blues or one of the greens, that would be really pretty. What else? I mean, there's just so many thoughtful journeys. I love it. You could use the petunia pop and some of the other colors with it. I could see using this one, and then you could stamp your sentiment on this. You know what you could probably do is you could probably take, now I'm thinking, you could probably take 2 of these and put them so you have it on all 3 arches, and then put your sentiments on the top. But there are so many, oh my gosh. I'm starting to love this. Oh, can you imagine this one as a scene on one of these cards? Oh my word. My mind's whirling too, Patty. I'm in love with this. And you could use like Highland Heather or even the Fresh Freesia as a color on this. Oh, all right, I'll stop because we could just go on and on for days using this Splendid Autumn for this. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I had a great time sharing this. I'll stop because like I said, I could go on for days. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you try this out. If you do and you post it, tag me, Stampin' with Jen, all one word, 2 N's in Stampin', 2 N's in Jen. And I will have, the solid color on the back of it is for the center arch. Oh, yes. Oh, Patty. Okay. I'm rethinking things. All right. But if you want, come back tomorrow with to my blog or website, Stampin' with Jen, www.stampinwith2nswithjen.com, all one word. And I will have all of the details, all of the measurements and everything that you need. And you will be able to watch this video. And I might have a couple extra samples of this using some of my Splendid Autumn DSP tonight. I think I'm going to play with that right after we get off here. So anyway, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Thank you for joining me today at Fun Friday with Jen. Next week, you can catch Tammy and I on our Teach It Tuesday with Tammy and Jennie. Tammy is on at 11 a.m. Pacific time on her Facebook page, Cards by TLC. And I will be here at 4 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon. And we are doing fun 3D treat holders, Halloween themes. So you want to come back and check those out. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.